Yeah, I hadn't turned it on. That was the problem. Oh boy. Oh, long story I'm not getting a lot of sleep these days, so this kind of stuff happens way more often than I would like to. Really, really stupid things that I forget all the time. Oh my God. Hey, Manuel. Hi. Good to see you. I typically go by Jose or Jose Luis. Luis is not often. No. All right. I need to do something real quick before I forget. Um, I can do it here while people start logging in. I would love if you're joining the channel, please join the live chat and say hi, who you are, where you're coming from. I love to get to know the people. Yeah. Okay, so this is exactly ISMR. I've seen you before, right? You've been on the channel before. Good to see you again. Uh, Great. Okay, I think this is good. From Argentina. Ah, buenísimo. Bueno, Argentina, porteño. Buenos Aires. Uh, okay. And I think that's all I wanted to. Dharmin Patel from India. Lots of love. Well, thank you. Thank you. Lots of love. All the way to India as well. Oh, my. Thank you. Oh, you studied the parametric course. Thank you. Hope I hope it's useful for you. From Misiones. I haven't been to Misiones. Where is Misiones? I did a I did a tour. I have a friend from Buenos Aires who got married there, and I went with some friends and we did like a whole tour around Patagonia. It was amazing, I have to say. Emmanuel from Nigeria. Ooh, nice. Nice to see you. Rayatayadav. Rayatiadav. Hello. All right. Okay. All right. Well, let's do the needful. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever this may find you in the globe, in whichever time zone. My name is Jose or Jose Luis or however you want to call me. I run this thing called Parametric Camp. We do live streams mostly on Friday mornings, my time in Boston, which is where I live. And then we sometimes turn those live streams into actual tutorials and even like playlists. And what is going on with the white balance? My face just keeps changing color. I need to change that in the camera. And yeah, and just we just edit the live streams, we cut them and we splice them together, and then we excuse me, and then we turn them into nice tutorials. Sometimes we turn them into a series of tutorials, like Omaima is right now going through the parametric modeling, the parametric course, the introduction to algorithmic modeling or parametric modeling. I think I forget the name, what it was. Anyway, and the channel is generally about computational design, which in my mind is about basically using computational tools like computers, computer programming, computer technologies for creative purposes, for anything that is about design, art, architecture, 3D modeling, you name it. I like all things computer science, but I'm not interested in, well, that's not true. I am interested. I like topics like optimization and like knowing how computers actually work and like low level stuff. But that's more like to feed the nerd in me. What I like about computer science and computer programming and computer technologies in general is to use it for cool creative purposes and projects and whatever that is. And that's what I try to teach in this channel. So if you're new to the channel, you can follow us on social media. We haven't posted on social media for a while. We used to be pretty active on Instagram. Now I haven't really done Instagram for a while. We are probably our main means of communication these days is the Discord server. There is a link to the Discord server in the description of this video. And also, if you want to know when do we go live, the best thing you can do is probably subscribe to the channel and hit the notification button. But we also have a Google Calendar where I create an event every time we're going to go live. And the link to that Google Calendar is in the description of this video. Is that all? This is the typical, I should pre-record this because I say it, I say the same thing all the time. But it's kind of a nice warm-up for me before starting the actual live stream. All right, so if you know the channel, you know that, oh, I like good vibes. Thank you, Paul Gustave. Good vibes to you and to the rest of the channel as well. So if you've been following, if you're new to the channel, just hang out. We're going to do cool stuff in the live stream today. I think we're going to record a video, which we haven't done in a bit. And if you follow us, you know that I go back and forth between recording systematic videos and making them to putting them together into a list or like a small course, if you will, and just using the live stream to tinker and to play around and to experiment with technologies that I am curious about, but I don't have the time to experiment outside of my, during my normal working hours. So I have promised in the past, and I have failed to deliver the promise that we were going to switch sometime soon to working on some new material, some new course. But as you probably know, I recently changed jobs, I recently changed universities, and I'm going to be teaching 2 new courses in January. And I still don't know which technologies I'm going to be using. Not true. I kind of know the technologies that I'm going to be using. One of them is going to be very heavy on JavaScript and P5.js. The other one is going to be an AI class that is non-technical. So it's an AI class where there's no requirement to know how to code to take the class, which makes it challenging. So actually, for that class, I want students to still make and tinker and experiment with AI tools, albeit with tools that do not require computer coding, right? And a friend of mine, a former student, recently recommended flowgramming tools. And those are basically cloud-based platforms where they basically look like Grasshopper. They have little boxes. Each box represents a process. You connect them with wires, you execute it, and the data flows between the operations, etc. It's basically like Grasshopper, but for automation and for integrations. Hey, Jaivera, good to see you. I have been recommended to. Some of my students have used make.com in the past. 2 live streams ago, we explored it and it was fun, it was interesting. We could put something together. And last stream, we tried n8n.io, which my very, very early assessment is that actually, why don't we go into, okay. So the first one that we tried was make.com, and if I log in, we can probably find like, yes, so the automation that I made the other day, which basically was something like, they're called scenarios, and this one. It was basically this really, really simple I was pinging an API. The API was giving me a random joke, and then I was parsing the response. And then in one end, I was generating an explanation of why it was funny, and then I was dumping that to a Google Sheet. And then the other one was trying to make an illustration, like an image, from that joke, and then posting it in Google Drive. Okay? And then, so if I hit play, I get a random joke, and then I used two AI models to explain the joke and to what? And to generate that image. And those ended up in my Google Drive somewhere. These tools are basically designed for automation of processes. They're really good at integrating external services, like for example, Google Drive, Dropbox, file storage systems, Slack, notification environments, and connecting to the API services of AI models so that you can use those AI services, but using them in the programmatic way through their APIs, right? So we managed to put this together. It was fine. I ran into a few problems, whatever, but long story short, make.com seemed to me pretty straightforward. It was easy if you know what HTTP requests are, etc. Wait, but this was not. Not integration HTTP. And then we did, yes. And then we did this one, which was basically having an endpoint. This is the one that was what I worked on mostly in that live stream. So anyway, what was I saying? To me, my early assessment was make.com was easy-ish if you know what a REST requests are, how to manipulate JSON, and then it was pretty straightforward. Once you connected with like a couple of things that were not so obvious to me, at least at the beginning, the UI felt a little clunky to me. And something that is very good at make.com is that it has a free tier that is forever. So it has this kind of credit system where as long as you don't burn and you don't use this very much, every month you get 1,000 credits, and then you can just use them until you run out of them. And then if you run out of them, then you can pay for more credits, and that's where. So it has like a forever freemium tier, which is nice. The other tool that I tried in the last live stream was n8n.io, which I found impossible to pronounce, so I'm calling it Nathan as of right. So if you hear me say Nathan, it's not my buddy Nathan, it's the acronym or the nickname that I'm giving N8N, all right, which I just cannot pronounce on a live stream. So N8N felt, how can I say this? The interface and the interactions, everything. This is the one that we were working on. Yes, this is the one that we put together, which was basically a replication of what I did on Make. It was very similar to this scenario here. Yeah, this scenario here. All right. Now, my early assessment of N8N was that the UI part and where things are felt a little too convoluted. I just couldn't find things where they were, and a bit more difficult to use. But I'm not sure if it's difficult to use just because I haven't spent enough time, or just because it's more powerful. So for example, the chatbot component has all these options and all these things you can connect to it that makes me feel like you can program much more sophisticated chatbots that you can do on make.com. It's just that I don't know how to do it because I haven't spent enough time doing it, which I may want to solve during this live stream. I may want to spend some time in this live stream just tinkering and breaking down template examples and trying to see how this works. All right, so that's one thing that I may want to do today. The other thing that I found, so I find that N might be deeper in possibilities and in the kind of stuff that you can do. It's just that maybe it requires more training or more learning. Not sure about that yet, right? The other thing that and then from in terms of usage of the cloud system, it has a big pro and a big con. The big con is that when you create an account on N8N, or sorry, on Nathan, then you only have 2 weeks of free trial. After that, everything freezes. You cannot use it. You have to upgrade and you have to pay to keep using it, which is a huge bummer. Because it's actually not cheap, let me tell you. It's like, if you pay monthly, it's like $25, and it's not unlimited at all. It has like 2,000 executions, which if you're using it for production, is not a lot actually. Anyway, so that's the big con. The big pro, though, is that it's kind of open source. And by kind of, I mean that I don't know. It means that I don't know. So there is this GitHub where the Nathan project lives. And I'm not sure how different this version is from the one that we're using in the cloud. But it turns out that if you want to work around the limitation of the 2 weeks of free period, you can actually download and install Nathan on your computer, run it from your computer, and keep the automations executing from within your computer, which I think is actually quite nice. And I actually tried it the other day in a server computer that I have here in my office, and it worked amazingly well, and it was super easy to use, which means that if you know how to install this locally, then you basically have free Nathan forever. At the same time, I have seen that another advantage of that could be that if for me, the main interest of using Nathan is to automate AI workflows. This is what I want to do, and this is what I want to teach my students. I'm less interested in integrating with Google Drive, Slack, whatever. Not my thing. I want to create chatbots, and I want to be sophisticated about creating those chatbots, if you will. So, because this may require connecting to AI services, which typically require paying, right? The advantage of using Nathan installed locally is that if you have a machine that is running Ollama locally, then you can use chatbots for free. You can use like simple automations for free locally, right? Which is really great. I don't really get why Nathan is so expensive for the subscription. There's free alternatives, just not no code. What do you mean free alternatives? Like make.com? Is that what you mean? Good to see you, Victor, by the way. Yep. So, how's your PhD? Is it done? Is it done? We need done. We need PhD done. All right. So long story short, I've been talking for 20 minutes already and I still haven't done anything. What do I want to do today? First, I want to record a video where we explain how to download and install N8N locally. All right? And actually, let me show you how I did it on my other computer, n8n.codelab.org. It's now opening, and this is connecting to my server machine. This is now running a local instance of Nathan that is living in my computer. And actually, what's interesting as well is that it has this setting where I can invite users. So if I could like send invitations to some of you, and then you could join and log in to, because my understanding is that if if I try to connect from some machine that is not logged in, right, you're gonna get like a wall, right? Is that true? Yes. And you cannot sign up because this is my private Nathan, right? You need to get invited to mine, which is great, right? Oh no, what a bummer. But have you written it? Is it done? The written part? Are you ready to defend it? Oh, geez. I can send some credits your way. You want to take one of my classes at Northeastern? Alrighty. So I'm going to explain how to do this, which involved first deploying Nathan on the machine that is right over there in my office. I'm going to do it here on this one, and then basically just tunneling, which basically meant creating a subdomain that with Cloudflare that pointed to my to my to my deployment here. Okay. Must be rough. What is rough? And Jagadesh, Internet is just passing data between different services, so a bit of JS code on a static page could technically do the same thing. Google Apps Script can do the same. Yes, but it's no code. That's the allure. Even though I have to say, at some point you have to know so much of like JSON objects, post requests, get requests, blah blah blah, that I don't know how can you know all of that real well and not know how to code. But anyway, I guess this is the world that we live in. Okay. Whoa. Okay. Sorry, I got distracted by mail. Okay, so three things I want to do today. First, I want to record that video, how to download and install Nathan locally and connect it and tunnel it. All right, so that's one thing. Second thing is I would like to spend some time tinkering with the AI blocks and see how the templates, how they do more sophisticated bots, right? So there's like a memory option, there's like a retrieval option, there's like all these things that I want to perhaps learn about. And then the third one was I want to try to make an automation. I want to try to make a workflow where I connect to a local instance of Olama and I make and I'm able to create predictions using Olama locally. So I'm actually going to write this somewhere because otherwise I'm gonna forget. Okay, no, that's not what I wanted. Okay, that's what I wanted. So today agenda, it's gonna be first, it's gonna be record video of local NetN deployment. Great. Deployment. Second, learn advanced AI chatbot techniques. And then third, generate predictions using a local Olama model. Yeah. And then how is this going to integrate with the work that we do in the channel? If we used to have this playlist called Fun with AI or something like that, right? Fun with AI. Yeah. AI plugin, web-based, yeah. Fun with AI. API key, credits, DALI, apps, ChatGPT, Vision with AI, your own chatbot. How to access. So maybe the video that I'm going to make goes here. It's funny, the views, right? This one has 9,000 views The rest, how to use DALI API in Grasshopper, was a lot of views. In Python, of course. Have I told you that this video is probably one of my most popular videos in the entire channel? How to get the OpenAI API key. I've complained about this in the past, right? Anyway, so long story short, what are we doing? In here, we are going to... Yeah, so it's going to be a video. We're going to deploy... We're going to deploy N8N locally. Does N8N, does Nathan have a... Yes. A logo, yeah. So we're going to deploy that locally, and then we're going to tunnel it. And that's it, no? That's going to be it for today, I think. All right. Okay, so let's start. I haven't done an actual video in quite a while, so I'm going to go over the steps first. I'm going to open a terminal. I'm going to open a terminal here, and so what did I do? npx n8n. I thought I had this, I did this the other day. That's so strange. I thought I actually did it. I wonder what's going on. So what would this video look like? What is the script for the video? What is N8N? Why install it locally? Normal installation with npx, and then permanent installation with npm. Ooh, and I couldn't install it. What's going on? Weird. So, okay. So let's go to the N8N GitHub. Okay. Okay. nvm install lts nvm help. Okay, nvm latest, nvm install latest. What is going on? nvm version. I installed it the other day and everything went fine. Yes, I literally just did this. I wonder what's going on. Do I want to spend? Okay, NVM for Windows. Let me just update this perhaps. We're working with full time on author, which includes sometimes to complete this latest release 1.2. Okay, well, can I install this? Attestation report, no install. Okay. All right, so let me install NVM for Windows. I accept the agreement. Yes, yeah. Yep, close. Really? NVM. Node version manager. This is not. Yeah, this is not the one. Sure. No. Okay, so I'm going to. Oh, geez. NVM. Okay, I'm going to remove NVM uninstall 8.17.0. NVM uninstall. NVM current. No current version. NVM. Ah, that's why. NVM current. NVM use latest. Node. Oof. NVM use 22 using blah blah blah. Okay, so now that's why. Ah, what? Okay, so all right, so what's going on here, folks? So I don't know what's happening with my system. Okay, so I'm gonna open a. This is the terminal that I used the other day, right? npx npm node. Okay. Okay, so what's going on? So in order to run Nathan locally, you need npx. Npx comes with Node.js, and I thought, and I am running Node.js on my system using NVM, which is the Node version manager. What's happening is that if I type Node on my terminal, it doesn't recognize it. If I type npm or if I type npx, it doesn't recognize them. So for some reason, I've lost the connection to my Node suite of things. It might be because NVM, if I NVM list, it looks like I'm not using currently any of the Node versions. So I'm gonna say NVM use 22, and then now I should be using NVM, but I'm still not using that version for some reason, and Node is not. So for some reason, NVM is just not working. So I need to fix that before I do anything. So NVM, I'm going to, so NVM use 20, and then node, no. nvm list, and I'm still not using any. So I don't know what's going on, but I think I'm just gonna uninstall nvm. nvm uninstall. And where is nvm? Is in my users folder. Is that true? You see, and N8N is here, which means I've used it in the past. I don't know why it's not working now. So weird. That's so strange. Okay, nvm, where is this? nvm for Windows. Open file location. And this is where? Roaming nvm. So users data JLX, users JLX application data, roaming nvm, nvm. Huh? Yep. Maybe any updated and changing some depth versions. I don't know, but nothing, no node is working on my system. That's the problem. So I'm just going to uninstall nvm. Yep. Yep. I want to completely remove everything. Yes. nvm gone. Great. Okay, so now there's no nvm. All right. Great. So that means that if I open a terminal, nvm is not recognized. Okay, sounds good. And what about node? I don't have a system level node either. Wow, okay. So I downloaded the installer for nvm, so I'm going to now run it. I accept the agreements, application data locally. Oh, and before it was in roaming. nvm. So now it's going to do local. I see. Okay. Okay, fine. The event will be notified. Uh, okay, sure. Okay. Open with PowerShell. Okay. All right. So NVM, great. Version 1.2, NVM list, no installations recognized. Okay, great. So what does that mean? I mean, so node, the latest LTS version is 24, correct? Download. Yes, 24 is the latest long-term service. I think that's what that means. So nvm install 24. So that's downloading and installing the latest version of 24. Okay. All right. So then that should make me have node now. Okay. So nvm use 24. All right. So now node. Yes. Now I have node. Now I have npm. Yes. And now I have npx. Yes. Beautiful. So do I have Nathan? No. Okay. So, but I should have, oh, what is that? Okay. So now, and okay, so I have node now. Fantastic. All right. So now if I do npx and 8n, it should download Nathan, install it. And then why do I have this one? I guess because I installed it globally. Is that true? I did try installing it globally. Maybe that's what I did. I'm bored. Can anyone give me some gossip or tell me some story? All right, so that's a bunch of stuff. Dependencies, blah, blah, blah. Oh, what just happened? Error, code, e-compromise, log compromise. A complete log of this run can be found in. How do you feel about IAC? I want to go there for my master's in construction. It's great. Yeah, you should definitely consider it. What is going on here? So, users, JLX, application data, local, npm cache, logs. What happened here? Wow, that's a lot of stuff. Log compromised. I have no idea what this means. MPX Nathan. I have no idea what this means. Is there a particular node version that I should have? Maybe, okay, nvm installed 22, nvm use 22, okay, nvm list. So now I have 24 and 22. Let's see if the problem is the node version, nvm n8n and npx n8n. But I think I installed on my server, I think I installed using Node 24, but it was a Linux machine, so maybe something was different. I don't know. But it looks like it's, I'm crossing my fingers, it looks like it's going through. Huh. Okay, well, looks like it's going through somehow. Let's see. Let's not get very excited about this. npm check globally installed packages. npm list global. nvm node version. Okay, npm version. Okay, npm list global. Core pack and npm. Okay. All right, so something is working. My computer is asking me to allow npx. All right, so now, all right. So it was an issue with simple API to generate jokes with GPT. So it did find the installation. This is what I used the other time. Okay. So this is what I tried locally. Interesting. Okay. Great, 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 great. npm list global. Okay, but n8n is not globally installed. So if I do npm install global, actually, this is not how I... Let me check my server machine, because I wrote some notes about how I installed it. Uh, mm, 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 mm. Permanent and install. Docker, no. Sudo global, and then is this what I... npm installation with npm. Okay, this is what I followed. Yes, installing globally. Okay, and then next, and then n8n start. So this is what I did. And I think this is what I already did. Okay. Okay, so I think this is enough. I think we can get started. I think we can get started recording. Yes, so what did we say the video was going to be? It was going to be, first, what is n8n? Why install it locally? So for what is n8n? Why install it locally? n8n.io. So this is why install it locally. So we're going to go to GitHub, and we're going to install it locally. We're going to install it locally. Actually, maybe I should remove it so that I also start. Okay. Okay. So that I can start fresh like anyone else would. And these logs, I don't need them. Okay, so what do I have? So the video is going to be an intro of showing what am I actually doing. Then it's going to be what is N8N, or as I'm going to call in this video, Nathan. Then it's an automation tool, IT, DevOps, sales. You can watch this.
So there's all these apps across your...
I'm not interested in this video. I'm interested though in if these people have tutorials, playlists, courses. Beginner course, 10 lessons.
Monday.com, the opposite of any work platform we tried in the past.
Beginner
We
course,
tried other work management
APIs, what are
platforms,
nodes,
not naming names.
how does
They
core
all suck.
workflow use full
Monday,
nodes in
total opposite. Didn't just work,
error
it
handling,
spread.
debugging,
And people
collaboration.
became Monday evangelists. And you know why?
Okay, and
Because people
then
actually
working with complex
liked
data flows.
using it. No, it's not a chore.
Okay, advanced technical pinning, sub workflows, error, build a full example, handling files, enterprise features. Okay. Playlists. Okay, I can use this for my students. That's good. Why install it locally? Because the free tier is very restrictive. Okay. Hey, Nicolas. Hi. All right, let's get started. Oof, I haven't done this in a while. Wish me luck. All right. Before we get started, let's actually talk the basics. What is N8N? Or as I'm about to call it in this feed, starting over. I'm actually gonna call it N8N in this video. Why not? Yeah, so let's starting over the recording. Before we get hands-on, what is N8N actually? N8N is what people refer to as a workflow, a cloud-based workflow automation tool, or some people call it flowgramming or flow programming. It's basically, if you're familiar with Grasshopper, it's basically Grasshopper for automating online processes. What that means is that it gives you this drag and drop flow-based interface where every box is a function or a connection or some kind of operation. You connect them with wires that represents data flowing through these operations, and then you can create complex workflows by daisy chaining this operation in this kind of like graph manner. So it's cloud-based. It's very interesting because it's very powerful when it comes to integration. So you can integrate all the Google products, Slack, all this stuff. And then specifically, which is what I'm interested in, you can connect to a lot of AI API services and create AI-based automations. For example, you can submit a form, have the AI do something with the form, and then post the result to Slack, or you can do some kind of like virus checking and scanning connecting to IPs, or you can do more complex, like there is a GET request and then you process the request with an AI and then you churn out some information based on that, or you can do sales processing, whichever this means, I don't know, right? But what's interesting is that it basically allows you to create complex workflows as if you were using Grasshopper, but mostly for data and for integrations with third-party applications, including AI models, right? So why do we want to install it locally? So it does have a cloud service. So if you go to nan.com or .io, you will find a dashboard and you can do, so where is my dashboard? So you will find that, where is my dashboard? Okay, so yes, so you can find your local, you can find your global, your cloud instance where you have your automations. And this is, for example, a simple API to generate jokes with ChatGPT that I created in a live stream that I did a few days ago, right? So the cloud version of N8N is actually really good, it's very useful, and then things live in the cloud and it's very easy to connect to them. The problem with N8N is that the free tier is very restrictive as of November of 2025, which is when we're recording this video. When you sign in for a free account, you only get 2 weeks of free N8N, and after 2 weeks, everything just freezes and you can't modify, you can't run these automations, you can't run the workflows. It's very limiting. And as you can see, I tried it for the first time last week or 2 weeks ago, and now it's inactive. And if you want to upgrade and if you want to keep using it, I mean, it's not terribly expensive, but it's also not cheap compared to other cloud services. So what's very interesting though is that N8N somehow is open source. So what's very attractive to me is that if you go to their GitHub page, the main N8N framework is somehow available to just use, deploy, and run it locally in your own machine without the need for that cloud account or that cloud service that lives in the N8N servers somewhere in Germany, I believe, right? So if you want to tinker, if you want to practice, and if you want to run automations that actually live in a computer that you control, you can deploy and install this locally, and then you have full, unlimited, unrestricted control of the N8N on your local machine. So this is what I would like to teach you how to do today in this video, because after tinkering a little bit, it's actually incredibly easy. It's very, very straightforward, and it's very gratifying because as you know from previous videos, like for example, how to install LLMs on your local machine and a card is going to pop up on the corner, or how to use a web UI interface to connect to local LLMs on your machine, and a card is going to pop up as well to the link in that video. Running AI-based services, or running any services locally in your computer, it's nice, it's satisfying, you have all the power, you have all the control, the data stays secure in your machine, it's not in someone else's server, so it's great. And the fact that they made it very, very easy to install and deploy, it's a huge, huge plus. So if anyone from N8N is hearing, big thumbs up, huge fan of being able to do this. I haven't used the local version enough to be able to tell you with detail what are the differences between using the local version versus the global one, sorry, the cloud one. I don't know if the cloud one has more features or it has some other integrations that you cannot use locally, but after my experimentation, everything that I wanted to do, I could do it with the local version, no issues. So it's a very good starting point, and I'm going to show you in this video how to install it locally. So let's take a look at that. All right, fantastic. So what is the next thing I'm going to do? The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to explain that you need to install Node.js, and that I have a video where I explain how to install Node.js. Is that true? What is Node.js? How to install Node.js? Fun with WebSockets? Yes. And in this video,
Liberty Mutual customized my car
why do
insurance.
I get ads on my own videos? Jeez. Wow, this video is old. Okay, wait. Ooh, look at my face. Whoa, that was a serious haircut that I had there, and a serious beard. Jeez. The t-shirt is the same though. One day it's gonna crumble and fall apart. Okay. I have to mention that anything that I'm going to do works for Windows, Mac, and Linux installing Node is the only part that is different. Hi, DDT. Okay. Okay. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to install Node.js on your system. If you already have it, that's great. If you don't know what Node.js is, I actually have a couple videos about what Node is and how to install it. The links to those videos, there's going to be a card popping up here in the corner, and there's going to be a link to those videos in the description of this video here. Also, full disclaimer, how to install Node.js. This video is ridiculously old. I made it like 4 years ago. Node.js is like 10 versions higher right now. It's like 24. But long story short, if you're on a Windows machine, you can just simply come here, download the installer, double click and say yes to everything, and then that will install Node.js on your system. Everything that I'm going to explain in this video also works for Mac and for Linux. So if you're a Mac user, the only thing that will change is how you install Node.js, and you can just go here and figure out different ways of doing this. But I leave that up to you because I don't have a Mac to show you how to do it. Okay. And then once you install Node.js, you can open a terminal by right clicking on your desktop and using Windows Terminal here, or by doing search on your system and type in terminal, which is showing in my other monitor. I apologize about that. So Windows, exactly. What will happen is that if you have correctly installed it, you should be able to click Node, and then this interactive REPL will show up for you. One note to keep in mind is that when I was testing things for this video, I found out that installing version Node 24 did not work with N8N, so I had to downgrade to version 22.21.1 long-term service. All right, so if you are experiencing errors in running N8M, as of November 2025, as of the recording of this video, I had issues with Node 24, so I am running Node 22, and that solved the issues. Okay, beautiful. So if you go, sorry, CLS to clean the screen. If you go to the GitHub page, you'll see that it basically says this is just as simple as installing locally with npx. So for those of you who may not be familiar with Node, Node has a thing called the Node Package Manager, NPM, which you use to install packages on projects locally and globally. But it also has this npx, which is basically a one-click install and run packages globally on your system that you can use to try things out and run it once without installing everything on your system. Sort of, not exactly like that, but kind of. So installing and running once N8N on your machine is literally as simple as going to your terminal, typing npx N8N and hitting enter. This will ask you, do you want to download and install blah 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 something. It's not doing that for me because I just did that before. So I guess N8N is already cached on my system, but in your case it will ask you, do you want to download blah blah blah. It will take like a few minutes, and then boom, you will get something very similar to this. The npx N8N command is the same no matter if you're running Windows, Mac OS, or Linux, right? Beautiful. Okay, so what that means is that N8X is actually running on my machine right now. How do I know that? Because it's saying the editor is available on localhost 5678. What that means is that I can now go to localhost and then 55678 on any browser, and then I will access my new fresh installation of N8N. It's gonna ask me to create an account, so I'm gonna be like foo@gmail.com, me, this is gonna be Jose Luis, and then some password, which I don't really care, and then next, and I don't need any of these. You can also subscribe to the paid features. That basically there are some free features that require you to register, but uh, but sufficient to say that now this is running on my machine. Okay, and anytime that I go to localhost 5678, then I will access a local installation of Nathan, and then I can just start a new workflow by adding, I don't know, I'm gonna add a webhook here, and this is okay. So now I have the webhook, etc., and I can click and install it. If you have tinkered with the cloud version before and it has expired to you, you can download the cloud version of your you can download you can go in, you can open the instance, you can go to the workflow that you're interested in, and somewhere here you can download this as a JSON file, okay? And now on my local, I can go to overview, and I can import from a file, and I can import this file that I just downloaded, and boom, it shows up. I'm gonna remove the folder, and it shows up. So whatever you had on the cloud version, you can import it on your local version now, okay? Oh, that's cool, Ashley. And we may need to try that. Fantastic. Now, one thing I want to highlight or remember everyone is that this local host and N8N running locally on your machine depends on this terminal window being open, so that the process is running on your machine. If at some point I do Control C and I stop this terminal, or I just shut down the terminal, what you will notice is that the connection is lost and that N8N is not running on your local host anymore. Okay, so, so just to keep that in mind. If you want to have a machine that is running N8N and that is permanently running the workflows, you will have to open a terminal, you have to trigger N8N, and you will just have to leave the terminal window open. Okay, now I'm going to open a terminal again. Their npx is basically meant to be one-off calls to modules. But if you're going to be substantially and consistently using N8N, there is a better recommended way of installing, which is permanently installing the module as a global module. What that means is that if you go to the documents in N8N, what they do is that they recommend, yes, you can try it without installing it by using npx, or you can install it permanently and using npm, the node package manager. So we're going to do that. I'm going to say npm, I want to install the module called N8N, and I want to make sure that it's global, that it's accessible to any user on my machine. maybe actually not any user, but the user that I made, but from any folder, and right? So what this is going to do is it's going to download N8N, and it's going to install it as a global package, all right? So it's going to download it, so maybe it's going to take a minute. I'm going to cut this out of the final video. I'm bored. I'm a little quiet because when I do the editing, I use the sound as a way to know when I started recording, when I did not. The volume of my voice when I'm recording a video is much higher, so I can see the histogram, the audio profile, and find like, oh, that's when I started talking. Okay, so I'm gonna shut up again to make an audio gap, and then and it did take a couple minutes, but now we have the module installed globally. So we're also going to install, as mentioned in the instructions, we're also going to install globally this N8, the next module for N8N, all right? Which I'm assuming is some kind of module that is required for N8M to work. I actually don't understand or know why that is necessary, but we're just gonna do it anyway. So maybe this will take another minute. Ashley, have you made anything with N8N that is cool and you can share with us? Well, this is taking a long time. And this took another couple of minutes, but it's now done. So what is the result now? I can type CLS to clear the screen, but now, because we installed N8N globally as a package, you can think of N8N as a program that lives on your machine now. So I can type N8N literally on the terminal, and that will start the process that lives in the local host, and that will make accessible localhost 5678, and that will make N8N accessible to me here. I'm going to do the same thing, import from URL, import from file. Here, I'm gonna save it, and then boom. Now, you see, and now it's live here. And then, because this is permanent now, if I stop and I relaunch the service, N8N, I will have the same user account. I will have the file that I saved, hopefully, yes, the workflow that I saved here living globally. Okay, beautiful. So this is just as simple as I just showed you. Now, What's interesting though is that you can use Nathan as a, sorry, Nathan, you can use it as a way to also provide cloud-based hosted services that other people can connect to. Actually, scratch that. I'm going to, I'm reminder to myself, remove this part from the editing, and I will explain that whenever I talk about tunneling. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so I need create new credential. Okay, and I'm going to show an example of that. Okay. Okay, great. And I always have this issue. I can only launch the Ubuntu terminal once. If I do it a second time, it just doesn't work. I have to restart the computer. It's so annoying. Ah. Ah. Yeah, it's very annoying. And I would love to have that. Yeah. I would love to have an Ubuntu terminal to show a post request. Like I was showing the other day in the live stream, right? But they look like they're not starting. Okay, and execute the workflow, waiting for trigger event. Waiting to call the test URL. Yeah. Okay, so this is listening. Yeah, but I need to. What is wrong with? Yeah, the WSL terminal, for some reason in my computer, I can only run it once. And after I shut it down, if I run it, if I want to start it the second time, it just won't start. I have to restart my computer. There's something about the kernel that doesn't close properly. It's very annoying. And then, as you remember, Victor, sending a post request with a JSON blob from PowerShell is so annoying because you have to escape everything. It really, really sucks. So, ay, ay. So what do I do? What do I do? How do I show the example? How do I do this? How do I do this? Postman? Yeah, but I don't want to use Postman. Ugh. Well, I can use Postman, I guess. Local and Nathan. Okay. So what is the production? Okay. So how do I inactive, active? So now send to localhost. Yeah, because they always take a flight. Okay. Okay, so what am I going to do now? I want to explain tunneling, and I want to link it also to the parametric camp videos on tunneling, right? Which are going to be playlists, fun with AI. How can I clear the response? Exactly. Parametric design. Okay. Now, if you remember from my live stream, I made this really simple example where I created an automation that takes in a post request with a JSON file saying, give me a joke of this kind of topic. And then if the format of the input is proper, then it uses ChatGPT to generate a joke and it responds to the post request with the joke, right? So a way to test that is to use, for example, Postman or to use a console post request. The JSON file is the username, whether if I want to create a joke, and the topic, and then I send this request locally and something is not working. Oh yes, sorry, because I have to actually turn this on and make it active. Okay, so now that it's active, now it's listening to those requests. So I'm going to send this, and you can see that after a little bit of processing, the response is the joke. Why did the parametric designer break up with the model? Because it kept changing parameters and wouldn't commit. That's actually not a terrible joke. Anyway, now what I want to highlight is that this workflow automation is working on my machine, and the URL to access the workflow is on localhost blah blah blah, and the URL to send the information to get the joke is also to send the post request is one that starts with the localhost. What that means in practical terms, and that's the one that I've used here in Postman, that means in practical terms is that this automation is going to work in my local machine and is going to be accessible for any process that lives in my local machine. So for example, I could connect Grasshopper and have Grasshopper send a request to Nathan, process the joke and get the joke back. And actually, maybe we can make a video about that now that I'm thinking about it. But I may want to open up this service, the random joke creation, to any other machine outside of my local network to access this automation. Or in other words, I may want to make this automation globally accessible with a URL that is not depending on my local host, or in other words, that is not linked to just my machine, right? The way to do that is by making sure that we can provide a public URL in the world and redirect that URL to the port in my local machine that is running this automation. The way to do that is one way to do that is by using tunneling, right? And tunneling is basically a way to create a public URL that points to a service that is living locally on a machine. I have 2 videos on the Fun with AI playlist on how to do network tunneling and how to create a permanent URL for that network tunnel. So the link to these videos is going to be in the description of this video. And I'm going to show you real quick how to do that now. Okay, so how are we going to do that? So let me log in to Cloudflare and see if I have if I had Cloudflare here on my machine, and if I had anything pointing. So I had the zero trust. Okay, network. I had tunnels. I don't have a tunnel to my computer right now. So I guess I'm gonna have to pick that up. Okay. So how did I do that? Cloudflare. I should remember that, right? I don't remember. Yeah, this is HTTP server. Okay. Okay, I don't remember where was this. Is this where I installed Cloudflare? Okay, let's see. Do I have Cloudflare? Yes. Okay, I have Cloudflare. I guess I need to create a new. I literally have to watch. Did you see that? I literally have to watch my own videos in order to name your tunnel. Wait. Yes. Create a tunnel. Beast desktop. That's how I call the machine that I'm using. Choose your environment. Install and run the connector. I have the environment, so I'm going to install and run the connector. It's already installed. You're running a Cloudflare tunnel. You can point it to multiple origins, avoiding the need to run more. Oh, okay. Cloudflare service uninstall. Ooh. Okay, so now I just installed this one. Okay. Okay, great. And then subdomain is going to be the domain is going to be parametric camp n8n, and it's going to point to the URL localhost 5678. Okay. And because this is running, I should be able to n8n.parametric camp. Choo-hoo! It worked. I can believe it. Okay, so it works. Oh, and now I forget. Oh, jeez. And I forget which credentials I have used. Am I gonna have to reinstall everything because I forgot about the credentials? Ooh. Ah. Ah. Oh boy, I'm going to have to reinstall everything. Oh boy. Ah. Okay. Okay, delete the tunnel, service and install, and then wrong username of, do you have caps lock? Okay. Oh, okay. Change the password. Ooh. Okay. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna save it now. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay, I saved the day. Ah. Okay. So then let's do it again. Test tunnel. My machine tunnel. Can you copy paste that on Discord so that I can use it? Then I'm going. All right, and that means okay. N8N parametric camp HTTP localhost. I mean, at this point, I've already used Postman on the video, but anyway. Okay, tunnel. Routes. Huh, okay. What have I done? My machine tunnel, yeah. Where was this? I'm a little... Okay, so here, init dot parametric camp, DNS will be created. Yeah. Localhost. Okay. I need to remove the record for that. Configure rules DNS Cloudflare services for tunnel test. Okay, this one. Can we remove this? Or can we remove this? Delete this record. Delete. Exactly. Okay, so that means that now I should be able to do it, right? Yes. And because this is running, I should now be able to do n8n.parametric camp and log in. Exactly. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Is this... So which PowerShell did you test this on, Victor? Because you see, I'm not getting... So maybe I need to do a new PowerShell. Yes. 754. I'm using 712 and I'm getting a bad request. But it looks like the request at least is going through. I'm not using the regular PowerShell. Okay. Okay. So, all right. Cloudflare service and install. And here I'm going to delete this tunnel. I'm basically going to delete this tunnel as well. And to these records, I may have to remove the N8N record from here. Is that true? Parametric camp, pop, tunnel, test. We can probably remove this one too, no? And yeah, these are old, I think. Okay, I think I'm ready now. So where did I leave this? Okay. I think I was here and I was saying, what did I do? We're going to use tunneling. I pointed to the videos and then I pointed to the videos and then I pointed to this. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to start by saying this is my goal. So I'm going to go to Cloudflare. I'm going to create a new tunnel. Then I'm going to link the subdomain to parametric camp. Then I'm going to install that tunnel in my terminal. And then I'm going to try to access, and then I'm going to try to ping from a global service. Okay. So my goal is to be able to install in some way, in some manner, a way to type n8n.parametric.camp, which is a domain that I own, and then be redirected to the local workflows and the local n8n deployment that I am running right now. So the way I'm going to do that is I have parametric.camp managed inside of Cloudflare. So even though I actually own it with some kind of some other register domain, the DNS is managed by Cloudflare. And I actually explained how to do that in the videos that I pointed to before. So on Zero Trust, I'm going to create a new tunnel. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Networks and Tunnels, and I'm going to create a new tunnel to the machine that I am right now. I'm going to select a Cloudflare. I'm going to write here Beast Machine, just because Beast is the name that I've given to this machine. I already have Cloudflared, the service, installed in my system. So the only thing that I need to do is install this token, the token for this tunnel. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to go to a new terminal. I'm going to paste this in the terminal, and then the tunnel that I just created is now connected to this machine that I am on right now. And you can verify that by seeing that we are just connected, right? And then I'm going to click next. And then this is where I'm going to configure the subdomain of my tunnel, or in other words, the N8N. So I'm going to type here, I want to choose parametric camp as a domain. I want the subdomain to be N8N. All right. And then that's the external URL. And I want to connect it to a service that I'm going to be running on my machine. Remember, that was localhost 5678. Okay. The moment I do this, I can complete the setup, and then hopefully, what is this? Complete the setup, and hopefully everything has been created, everything is healthy, which basically means that N8N, if I go here to Brain Desktop, sorry, not that one. If I go to Beast Machine, Edit, and Publish Application Routes, we can see that this route is now linked to the process that is living locally on this port. So therefore, I should be able to now hit n8n.parametric-camp, and boom, I am accessing the local deployment of N8N. And even though I am in my machine, the way I'm accessing the local process is right now through an external URL. So I could go with my laptop to the library, to the cafe, whatever, and I could still type this and you could access. If you're watching this video in the future and if you type n8n.parametric-camp, if I left the process living, then you might actually hit a wall with like a login information that you don't have because I'm not going to give you logins to my machine. And if you are right now on the live stream, you can actually type this and it should be able to work right now. Now, what I want to do now is, remember how I was using a local URL to perform this? What I should be able to do now is I should be able to now access that process using a global URL. So for the post, instead of pointing at localhost blah blah blah, now I can replace that with n8n at parametric camp, send the key, and I should be able to get the response. You see? Yes, Northeastern University, why the Northeastern ring, something, something, I don't know. All right? But it works. And what this also means is that now the N8N joke generator, the workflow that I've programmed on my machine, is now open and usable and accessible to anyone that knows how to send a post request to this exact URL that I am providing right now on my machine. What this also means is that you basically created an automation that everyone in the world can access and can use. Now, a word of caution, this automation is linked to ChatGPT with an API key that I am paying for. So every time someone, you or someone else, does a request, there is some money that you're going to pay to access the ChatGPT service. So be careful who you share these things with and make sure that you only share it with people that you want to use, or that you somehow add some kind of like API or credential system to the post request, which is a bit more of an advanced topic, but that you can also do. All right. Beautiful. So that is fantastic. And thank you very much. And if you like what you saw, please maybe like this video, subscribe to this channel, and hopefully we'll be posting more videos on how to make nice, cool, nerdy things with AI, automations, code, and design. Thank you very much, and see you on the next video. Bye-bye. And now I'm going to make the recording. All right. So the intro to the video. For the intro to the video, I'm actually going to I'm actually going to use I'm actually going to test Victor's content type application, and then we need to have three things: username Jose Luis, and then create joke true, and then joke topic, I don't know, programming. Okay, if I do that, this is the kind of stuff that I used to, this is the kind of stuff that was the problem. Wait, but this is actually, an error from N8N, actually. Victor, this is not working. This is not properly parsed. This is probably not the white spaces, is it? No. Code 422 failed to parse request body, expected property name, or closing. I know. So maybe, did I have an example of did I have an example of a simple get? Where did I have that? Ay. Uh, simple HTTP client. Okay, so simple HTTP client. So this is the URL. Post the content headers. I don't need any of these. And then username. Window fetch is an invalid header name? What the? What? Okay. Well, I can use this one that I wrote a while ago. Simple post request UI. Oh, wait. Oh, maybe I can get this here. So here, request bin, and then key, user, name, Jose Luis. Create joke, Drew. Joke topic, code. And then send the request. Only Jose Luis is allowed to ask for jokes. No, okay, so I'm gonna copy the JSON object. Okay. Because this is query. Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm. Can I clear this? Okay. So I guess that's... I guess that's how I'm going to start the video, which is kind of a little bit of a bummer, no? Maybe the way to start the video is, are you an 8N user and your plan has expired? Check this out. You can run N8N locally from a local URL. And then similarly, you can open that up to make requests. Like for example, Cloudflare, whoa. It has expired, but check this out. And also I can do a response. Yeah. Maybe that's how we'd make the video. And then I'm going to remove this from here. Okay. Okay, I think I got it. So I'm gonna start. Are you an N8N user, but all of a sudden you run out of trial days and you can't use your okay, you can't use this anymore. Well, what if I told you that there's a way to run N8N locally and then be able to access it from somewhere, from anywhere in the world. And then to make requests, so you can build apps that use these automations that you've done. Okay, I think that's going to be the way I'm going to start the video. Okay, let's do this. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, what did I used to do? Hello, and welcome to another video. Hello, this is Jose Luis, and welcome to another video. This is Jose Luis at Parametric Camp, and welcome to another video. Okay. Okay. I had forgotten how I do this. All right, let's do this. Hello, this is Jose Luis here at Parametric Camp, and I have a question for you. Are you an N8N user? You've tried to create workflow automations on their cloud service, and after 2 weeks of using their trial, you have run out of trials or credit, and you have to pay to start using more of this N8N and more of their workflows. But what if I told you there is a way where you can actually, on your local machine, you can deploy a local instance of N8N that you can run in your machine that has no accounts or limitations, that you can use forever, and that you can also run and access from anywhere in the world. So for example, I'm going to type n8n.parametric.camp, which I just configured, and then I'm going to access now a version of N8N that is living in my machine. And what I've created this really simple workflow to create an endpoint for post requests, accept a JSON file, and then generate a random joke using artificial intelligence, right? And actually, I'm going to show you, I can make a post request to this URL that is based on my n8n.parametric.camp. I can send a JSON, hey, give me a joke about programming, and then boom, it's going to send it, and then the generation just created this random joke for me. Okay, so what does this mean? There is a way to install N8N locally, run it through your machine, open it up to the entire world so that you can open it up to the entire world and then automate and allow apps to use the automations that you have on your local instance and that you can run forever. Isn't this cool? You want to know how to do this? It's actually really, really, really simple. Let me show you. Okay, and I think that was it. I'm gonna stop here. I said I was gonna tinker with models and try things out, but I'm very tired. I've been speaking for 2 hours now, and I'm not used to it anymore. And my throat is like, So yes, so I'm gonna stop it here. I'm gonna process the video, make it available, and then I may just tinker offline with the local Olama, with what? I may just tinker with local Olama, with what was the other thing I wanted to try? Yeah, advanced chatbot technique. I may just like spend the afternoon drinking coffee and trying this out. I don't feel like speaking that much anymore. I'm a little burnt today. I don't know. Maybe I'm coming down with something. Thank you everyone who joined the stream. Thank you everyone who supports Parametric Camp. I love my campers. I love doing this live with many of you, and hopefully see you next Friday. All right. Bye, Victor. Bye-bye.